there?
Yeah, really, it's never perfect in an NFL game. That's why I really, going through there, the first half, we knew it was going to be a slow, the way that they played, they were going to try to grind it out, but they made the big stops when they had to, regardless of how that first half went. And then the second half, they played really well, and then especially down the stretch. Really proud of these guys. That was a really good team win. So we pride ourselves on. We're a team, and we got contributions from all over the place.
To that extent, was crunching the numbers. This defense is 3 for 8 when stopping opponents in the red zone over the last 2 games. What have you seen from your defense inside the 20?
Yeah, our defense.
Yes.
And it's always going to be about us and the team. So our defense, we adjust. We got really, really smart players and coaches and certain things. That's what it is. It's a constant work in progress. There's a lot of things we'll have to clean up tomorrow, and we got to be objective, and there's some things we've done differently down there. And those guys communicate well, and a lot of times it's a chess match, and I thought they handled it well today.
What do you think of the spark that Caleb Huntley provided there at the end?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's another guy in our program, and we believe in this team and guys, and that's our charge, is to coach everybody on this roster, and you never know when you need next guy has to step up, and Caleb did that today. So did Tyler Algier, and so did Avery Williams. He had a big run late in the game. And, we had CP early as a good contribution in the run game.
When you put Caleb in, things were dragging a little bit. Did you put him in for a spark, or is that just part of the normal rotation?
Josh, sometimes you get in there, and they have a say too. We didn't execute well. I think we had 3 drives in the first half, right? I mean, it was a quick first half for us. We had like 17 plays, if I'm not mistaken,
20
at the half. Whatever was on that surface at halftime. And so we come out, we try to take a shot. We don't hit it. You got to get off track. You got to punt. You come back, try to do a little misdirection. Nothing there. Get Drake going, get the face mask right, and then you play it in their hand. We're really off track. So then coming out, we knew we had to get back to our game, and wasn't perfect. Got the pick on the movement pass. Ward made a pretty good play, and the defense did a nice job. That was a big stop by them, sudden change. And then we came back out, and we were just playing our game, Josh. A lot of those first start of the series put us off track. That's credit to Cleveland, and we got to execute cleaner. And certainly I can look at everything I was doing, and then we're going to make a statement, and that's what we did. It had nothing to do with Caleb and nothing to do with anything else other than trying to win that game and playing our style, and that's what we did.
Those 14 straight runs, is that what you're talking about, making a statement?
Absolutely. When the line's running like that, that's what you call being in a flow. Proud of those guys. We knew it was going to be a big boy fight, and same number of run attempts, and always thought the team that ran the ball better today was going to win, and that held true, thankfully.
Arthur, kind of following on all of that, when you go to the decision to go to Caleb and Tyler in that drive, how much of that was because of Cordero throughout the week, and how much of that was planned?
Well, yeah, this is what, and I'm saying this, and I'm being dead serious. I believe anybody that's up on game day. Mike Petrie does a hell of a job. He's got his handle on it. If I need somebody on a play, like if I wanted Avery on a certain play to set up, I'll call for him. But I got all the faith in Mike Petrie. I don't care who's out there because I believe in everybody that we put up on game day. Whether it's that receiver, running back, tight end, Felipe, I don't care because I believe in these guys. It's not a status thing. It's not a star fan thing. We're trying to win the game. So Mike thought Caleb could get in a couple reps in there, and he proved that he was right. And that's a credit to Caleb, and that's Mike Petrie does a hell of a job.
When he does get 1 or 2 carries and it's going so positively, at that point, is it one of those things where you just ride it until?
A little bit, yeah, certainly. That Caleb played. He got a first real carry a couple weeks ago. It made it not mean a lot to some people, but you kind of get your feet wet, so to speak. So I was very confident in Caleb. That's why we put him up. And like I said, we knew what kind of game it was going to be. That's why we only had 4 wide receivers up.
Defensively, for at least a good portion, at least of the first half, you went with the similar defense that you used last week against Seattle with the
Which one was that,
the
Mike?
with kind of the 5 linebackers on the field. Is that in some ways used to
We
negate?
can morph to a lot of it. It looks like something. Sometimes you can play different fronts, very multiple, different things, Mike. We got a lot of speed when you put Troy and Mike Walker. Sometimes it looks like base. You can go 5 down. Sometimes you can go 4 down, 3 down. Those guys are fast enough to play in the slot too, and that's what having versatile players does for you. So you can mix and match, whether we put Mike Ford in the nickel, put Mike Walker, put Troy Anderson, put D. Alford. That's why I get excited. That's why I'm thankful to coach this team.
Is that something though that when you're playing run-heavy teams like Cleveland is, like Seattle was last week,
Certainly,
is
it
that
depends on their
fit into
scheme
it?
and what they're trying to do. You know, they run multiple personnel. It's very similar, Cleveland. A little bit different scheme, similar mindset. They run a lot of guys in there, give you a lot of different looks. They shift, they motion. Some of it you're playing situationally, and some of it you're playing personnel. And that's the chess match. I think Kevin Stefanski, Bill Callahan, and that whole Cleveland staff, they do a hell of a job.
Coach, you have a little symmetry in these back-to-back wins with the defense getting a sack and getting an interception to end the game. How important is that for you to see that consistency to be able to not just close the game out, but close it out in that type of decisive fashion back-to-back weeks?
Well, most of these games come down to the end, and whether we got to go put a drive together, and certainly you'd love to have a touchdown there, but my biased opinion, I got to put Koo out there in those clutch situations. I got my money on Koo. So, Coop, bangs it through. They use their timeouts, and that's the game you're playing. So, not only that, what I liked about that last drive, too, was they checked to something, and they threw what I call a big box fade, and Bell caught it on Alford. And then D didn't flinch. You get up, play the next situation. They run a screen. They get guys down the field. You take the penalty. You kind of got a chance to pin your ears back and then be able to get that pick the next play. Says a lot about our team and the kind of guys we got.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks. Who's got it?
Congratulations on the win, Coach.
Thank you.
What was your message to the team after the game?
You just said it. We're a team, and we'll find different ways, and we believe in these guys, and we got to keep improving. But these guys believe, and that's the way they work. And so hopefully we can get back to. We know we got a huge divisional game down in Tampa next week. And we got to get ready. So we got to go in there and assess where we're at tomorrow and on to Tampa. Thank you.
Speaking of the screen game, or the defense, how well they played the screen game, was that something you saw on tape, or was that defense reading and reacting?
Well, some of it, and guys being disciplined. One of those, they had a pretty good call. We were pressuring. Guys being able to read out of it, and that's kind of the game. You got to feel some linemen, maybe they give it away because they're too quick. They let you beat them too quick. But we had different calls in there, too. So, some of it's instinct, knowing the situation, being able to make those plays.
There were a couple of possessions in the second half where you had Holland for Hayward. What was the...
No different than having Huntley and Algier in there. We got a team. I'm going to continue. No different than Troy plays a little bit. Lamon had a package. Like I said, we believe in this team.
Yeah, that in some positions, though, like at corner, that's not always something that you see in the NFL. I'm just wondering what
Yeah.
you're seeing from your guys that tells you
A lot of guys
that
that can play, that can help us win. That's what I see. No different than the way we roll tight ends or receivers or backs, D linemen, corners, safeties. I mean, we believe in our guys that are up, and we'll continue to work. But that's all it was.
You alluded to it a little bit earlier, but it looked like they were looking for D. Alford a couple of times. Were you surprised that he was able to respond in the way he did at the end?
No, and I wouldn't say they're necessarily looking at him, Josh. Sometimes the games in the game, it happens to be with the coverage. They're trying to get indicators. Sometimes they get them, sometimes they don't. A lot of that is when they're packaging plays, I'd say it's more about what they thought the look was. And so, like I said, I mean, they thought they guessed right. I mean, they didn't guess right. They had a tell, and but they had something completely different the next time when we were able to get the sack. So I thought they were getting it again, but they weren't. And that's the game within the games. So they checked to it. They happened to get man, and they threw that big box fade. Some people call it a chop route. Some people stomp route. I've called it 100,000 things. But that's all it was, Josh. I didn't see that like they were attacking.
You called this game a big boy fight, which I like, by the way. That's probably going to be my headline. But for this run blocking purposes, what did you see from your offensive front? And I know last week you talked about it's all 11 blocking,
Yeah,
but what
is.
do you see from?
To be able to, we didn't have a lot of snaps early in the game. Like I said, credit to Cleveland. There was kind of a lull really by both teams that started that third quarter. It was getting kind of quiet in there, and those guys keep swinging. It's the way they work, and we know. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, you're not creeping up on anybody. People know that we want to run the football. That's what fires you up. And it won't be that way every week. We're going to have a challenge. We know how competitive it is, but when you can run the ball when they know you're going to run it, that speaks volumes about your guys. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Hey, Marcus, I asked Coach this question, so I'm going to pose it to you as well. You got 2 back-to-back wins, basically the same way, a sack and a pick to close out. So how important or how confident is it for you and as well as for this team just to know that your defense, when charged to close out a game, can close it out in that fashion?
It's awesome to see, really. Our defense has continued to make big plays in pivotal moments. We, as an offense, that excites us because we understand that if we can get down there and take a lead in the fourth quarter, our guys have the opportunity to close it out. But credit to our defense, they kept us in it really and gave us an opportunity at the end to win.
And you also had a game where you had 11 first downs on the ground. And so this was that game where maybe, the Browns didn't allow the passing game to really take off, but whether it was Algier, whether it was CP, you really had the ground game going. How important is it that for you guys to have that versatility on offense? Starts
up front. You got to give credit to our O-line. They did an unbelievable job. And for us as an offense, sometimes you got to be patient. You're not going to make plays down in the passing game, and we understood that. If they're covering some of our play action passes, some of our intermediate game, we had opportunities to run the football. And we leaned on our guys up front. Our backfield was unbelievable. Young guys coming in and stepping up and making big plays. And you know what? That's what it takes. I don't really care as long as we win games.
Congratulations, Marcus, on the win. Just
Thank
talk
you.
about just your biggest takeaways from tonight's win.
Again, I just thought it was a complete team win. Offense made plays when we needed to. Defense made plays when we needed to. Special teams, they came up big too. To be able to play all 3 phases that way is huge for us. And I think it's building a great foundation for the rest of the season. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.